Hello, it's Ramen Ninja again. Sorry about that. So, I played a little bit more of this last night, and um, this morning or today I got up and logged on, and I found that they updated. So I'm gonna do something here. I found that they updated the game, and they put an option in here that was originally in well, not really. It was available in the PS4 Pro version of the game, but it wasn't available in the when you went to play it on the standard PS4 consoles. So they added this action mode and movie mode. Movie mode, I'm assuming, is they're trying to fit all the little technical, graphical things that they could try and fit in there. And action mode says right there, frame rate stabilizes more easily, which probably scales the graphics as you play or turns off certain types of features. And I turned this on, and right away I kind of noticed a pretty decent fairly decent graphical improvement. Nothing that, not graphical I should say, but performance, but nothing that would really, unless you bought it yesterday and played it right out of the gate and kind of noticed that stuff, nothing that you would really notice if you picked up the game now or later. But it is nice to see that Konami Tecmo's updating the game and working on stuff. I have noticed there's still, like, look at those guys, still a little stuttering and graphical issues pop in, that type of thing. Granted, the game's still loading. I just booted it up. So I'll show you, I'm going to show you kind of how it runs in action mode and how it runs in movie mode, and kind of let you make up your own mind. And there are a lot of quests in this game as I've been kind of working through them. So this is the one I'm working on now, which is right up here. So yeah, have you noticed the kind of distance, stuff like that? Enemies don't really pop in until kind of later. So this is just like a one-off side quest I ran into while going to a different quest part. So there's a lot of that in here. One of the main complaints I've read about this game is there isn't a huge variety and stuff to do in the open world, but it's still a Dynasty Warriors game, and unless you're a fan of the games, I really don't know how to say that, like, people's expectations of the open world sandbox and stuff like that are pretty high with games like Horizon and a lot of stuff like that that's been coming out. Again, Assassin's Creed Origins, stuff like that that's been coming out lately. People have pretty high expectations for what they want out of an open world, but at its core, this is still a Musou Dynasty Warriors game, and I'd find it very hard for them to do, technically, on the technical side, to do what they do for combat and action on top of putting in all the kinds of assets that games like Horizon or Assassin's Creed have. You know, in those games you're fighting 2, 3, at the most, maybe 4 or 5 enemies at a time. This game, you're running into groups of anywhere from 20 to, I don't know, the whole screen gets full and it's kind of hard to tell, but I would say like 20 to 100 enemies, you know. So you got to take those things into account, performance issues and stuff. It's pretty cool that it still like they were able to do like a weather system and stuff, and I found out that the weather system actually affects the troop behavior like in the older games, where if it was raining or snowing, they would move slower, snowing they wouldn't want to move at all, or they'd want to stay close to base. And then we got day and night in this game, and at daytime enemies tend to be more active, at nighttime they tend to hang out in bases, and sometimes it's good to go in if there's a base near you that you can take out or something. It's better to do it at nighttime because they're all kind of consolidated. Alright, so I'm gonna pick a quest that's close and travel to that next location. Show you what travel's like with action mode. Alright, so go there. Yeah. I'll go to this one. I guess I didn't need to fast travel there. So you talk to this guy.
I would like to discuss something with you.
He gives you the quest.
Then you accept.
Get on my horse. And the quest location is pretty close. I can auto travel to most quests that are kind of far away, but once you get within a certain range, it doesn't make sense to auto travel. Just gotta look at your map. So that wasn't a good example for showing travel in action mode. Oh, wow. He was running away and glitched out. Alright, so call my horse back to me.
Yeah.
And so I defeated those guys, and some quests, I've noticed some quests you gotta go and turn in, and some quests just disappear. I found that kind of interesting. It's interesting, to say the least. Well, it actually looks like, I mean, I have some side quests I can go pick up, but I like to kind of run into this stuff as I go, and once I clean up whatever shows up on the bottom for side quests, then I'll go down the list of what I'm doing now. We got suppressing the yellow turbans as kind of like an overarching thing. I want to go destroy these ritual tools. So I'm going to select that as my main quest. And then a lot of people have also complained about how travel works in this game as far as like the time that you spend on your horse and stuff like that. Well, they have a fast travel system and stuff to kind of slow that down, and I found that when I actually use that instead of trying to travel everywhere by horseback, that I only spend maybe, I think the most I've spent is 4 or 5 minutes on the back of my horse. And okay, so I chose auto run, you saw that turn on, and then you also have a sprint feature where if you push the top shoulder button, R1, your horse will run faster. And that also helps out a lot with getting places. I think some of the complaints are just people not really aware, or, you know, it is a Japanese game. Japanese games are kind of notorious for kind of putting everything on the table right away at the beginning and leaving you to figure out a lot of what else is going on. The minor systems and stuff like that they don't really, they kind of explain it, but they don't really explain it at all, or there's lots of people I've noticed, there's a big text barrier and people don't want to read, and when the information is presented to you right in the beginning, somebody sees 2 or 3 paragraphs worth of information and they don't want to read it. They just want it to be more interactive or something like that. Well, for me it doesn't bother me too much because I play games like Monster Hunter. I'm going to actually start uploading some Monster Hunter World videos here soon. And so I kind of like to discover things as they're presented instead of, you know, trying to, how should I put it, trying to cram everything into like a level that's nothing but tutorial. And they have that in the beginning. They kind of show you the basics of what's going on. How do I?
That's the end of our fun then. I hope the altar in Yut is still intact.
Alright. So I destroyed that one. Let's get on my horse. I'll go to the next one. I still think it's funny how the horse kind of just runs into things and will keep going until he moves around it. I mean, you can control the horse while you're fast traveling, but it's kind of funny how he does that. I think, actually, I'm going to, I wonder if I can do that here. Nope. Okay, so I'm actually going to get on my horse. I'm not in battle right now, so I can save. That's another thing too. You can't save if you're in events or battles, like character events and battles. Okay. So now I'm going to quit the game. And I will change it over to moving mode. Just kind of give you an idea of some of the performance differences between the two choices. I did like that they put that in here though, that you aren't, you know, confined to being stuck with kind of this, yeah, they call it movie mode, but you know, it's alright. So it loaded up and it's raining, but right away I already noticed they tried to do a lot of detail and stuff in the textures, but they just don't load fast enough, and you see like the walls there and stuff, they look a little muddy. It just doesn't look as, all that light pop in and stuff. It just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't click with me as, where am I going? Oh, there's more ritual tools up here. So, I believe, okay, no, I can't fast travel to that, but I believe if I go fast travel, yeah, okay. I think I can select Yi Eastern Camp here, or, yeah, I think I can select that, move to Eastern Camp. So that's another way to kind of get around. And I think if people were more aware of those travel options, there really wouldn't be as big of an issue with the whole having to travel to different locations and kind of this dead time between missions. I kind of get where people are coming from as far as that goes, because, you know, all the other Musou games, Warriors games, they're all menu based. So, you know, when you ride your horse in places in those games, it's to get kind of short distances, to get to, you know, save this general, or stop this trap from activating, or stop him from casting the spell. You want to use the horse to get around that way. And they've tried to make the horse a little more necessary in this game, in the way that, like, you have to use it to get around.